This is Ian Lamont. I've been a publisher selling books on Amazon for more than 10 years. Today, why I don't publish audiobooks on Audible or anywhere else for that matter. If this video helps, please take a moment to like it and subscribe, and let's get started. So we are looking at ACX. ACX is basically a website operated by Audible, which matches publishers and authors with narrators. And the idea is you, the author, you upload your book to ACX. ACX will help you find a narrator and to narrate the book, and then ACX will get the book published on Audible, which in turn means that the book will be available for sale on Amazon. So that's what Audible and ACX is, and here's why I haven't used it in the past, and I probably never will use it in the future. So the first reason is Audible cannot be trusted. Audible or ACX or Amazon, they're just not trustworthy. This is a chart created by the Alliance of Independent Authors a couple years ago. Basically what they did a deep dive into what Audible's stated earned royalty rate was, 40%, and then they calculated the effective royalty. I won't get into the details here, but basically if your book is exclusive to Audible, you're getting an effective royalty rate of 21% for each book read, not 40% like Audible claims. If it's not exclusive, your effective royalty rate drops to 13%. Another thing you need to remember, that's for both the author or the publisher as well as the narrator. And then if it's a publisher, they have to give, usually there's a percentage that goes to the author as well. So the cut for each player in this ecosystem is very, very small. Audible was basically caught, first of all, lying about what their real royalty rate was. And then it turned out that they were also hiding other forms of sales. It was a really complicated mess. If you want more information, look up AudibleGate on social media and you can see a lot more. So Audible proved that they just can't be trusted. They have a new royalty model. It's basically a pooled royalty model. They just announced that. That doesn't look trustworthy either. It looks like it's not really clear how much you'll be getting, but it can't be much because it's basically intended to draw people into the subscriber, kind of the all you can listen to audiobook model, which I think has just been a disaster all the way around for all kinds of creators who've tried other sorts of subscription models for their books. So Audible just can't be trusted. Now, another thing about Audible and audiobooks in general is it works very well if it's first of all, a good book and it's a narrative book. So narrative fiction or nonfiction. For a book that is not narrative fiction or nonfiction, for instance, like the books that I publish, these are the books that I publish. This is called utility nonfiction. Windows 8 Basics in 30 minutes. This is a reference book. No one's going to be downloading a copy of Windows 8's Basics in 30 minutes and then listening to it from start to finish. It just won't happen. So audiobooks don't make sense for me, don't make sense for my publishing business. It doesn't make sense for a lot of other types of publishers as well. It probably only works for narrative fiction, especially, and some narrative nonfiction. But for many other types of books, it just won't work. Like a cookbook, there's another example. It wouldn't work. Cookbooks are really visual, brief chapters. People are kind of jumping around looking at the different recipes. So cookbooks wouldn't work either. So for me, it doesn't work, and that's why I won't be doing it. The other thing about ACX and Audible is you have to work with a narrator. Okay? Decide on payment terms, collaborate to make it real. Like this is really time consuming. And also, you have to vet the narrators to make sure that they're a good fit. You have to listen to the other work that they've provided. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're not, or just sometimes you just can't get things working. And it takes a long time to narrate a book. Narrators work hard, okay? And if you're a publisher or if you're an author and you're working directly with the narrator to get a good quality product out there, that's a lot of work. And narrators understandably expect to get paid, okay? And so you're splitting the royalty with your narrator. And it's very time consuming. So that's another reason why I haven't done it and I will never do it. And then basically the bottom line for ACX or Audible is it just doesn't make sense for most publishers. Most publishers who publish an audiobook, their book won't be listened to a lot. There'll be a small to medium sized number of downloads over the life of the book, and you'll get a very small percentage of the royalty, or if it's a pooled royalty, probably even smaller than that. We don't really know. And it's a lot of work to do, and it just doesn't make sense for a lot of books. So bottom line, Audible and ACX don't make sense for most publishers. It has never made sense for me. the other thing is that a lot of, of the so-called competitors out there to Audible, they're not very viable. Spotify, maybe. There might be a couple other ones out there. But basically, because Amazon and Spotify control the two biggest audiobook platforms, you have to play by their rules. You have to use their royalty rates. There's not really much room to maneuver, and it just doesn't make sense for most publishers.